I'd like to call us back into order, and I would now like to recognize the gentlewoman from the District of Columbia, Ms. Norton, for 5 minutes of questions.
Thank you for particularly, Mr. Chairman, for rushing back, because I know you have to go to the floor again. I wish I did. Let me say how helpful all of your testimony has been. You have reinforced a lot of what the Postal Service itself has said. And I want to say to you, Mr. Orlando, I have walked with my letter carrier. He is an indispensable party to the American people, far beyond delivering the mail. There are people who have nobody but a letter carrier to speak to every day, particularly the elderly. They greet him at the door, even if they've got a walker. Thank you for all you do. You're wonderful. They're the best. Your letter carriers are the best in inventories. I want to just straighten two things out for my own thinking, certainly. I am well aware of what collective bargaining does for those in trouble. There is nothing more valuable than to have the cooperation of level-headed unions when you have got to manage a downsizing of any kind. And everybody ought to know that the reason you have been able, the Postal Service has been able to do what it does is because its collective bargaining partners understand the business as well as the business with whom they are dealing. So I congratulate you. I know the sacrifices you've taken, and you don't see the postal workers out here screaming and hollering because they believe fairness has been accorded because it has been bargained. And so I agree with your testimony. It says, look, don't tamper with collective bargaining. If you really want to mess up this situation, just mess with collective bargaining. Now, Saturday delivery. I read your testimony on Saturday delivery. I want to know, is it subject to collective bargaining?
Saturday delivery?
Is that bargained over?
No, it's not.
Now, you make a pretty compelling case that there would be very little savings. The thing that has made me interested in Saturday delivery is this overwhelming number of Americans, 75–80% said, okay, if that's what you have to do, that's what you could do. But you make a pretty compelling case, not simply about inconvenience to people. I understand that, and people, of course, in hard times have to take that. But loss of business, that bothers me. What do you mean about the loss of business? Who would get that business? If Saturday delivery in those locations, and let's assume we had, in my hypothetical, no Saturday delivery in just some locations, but some you did have. In any case, where would the business go to, and what would that mean for future business for the Postal Service?
First, if I could, I'd like to just comment on the 75 to 80% that you just alluded to. You got to understand that it really depends on what you ask people as to how they're going to respond. If you ask people if they would rather have an increase in postal rates or lose a day of delivery, you're going to get one set of answers. If you're truthful with people and give them the real options, would you rather the Postal Service be allowed to transfer their own money from a surplus in their pension fund or lose a day of delivery? I think you get a completely different.
And of course, Mr. Sampy's testimony, and I think the testimony of the first panel, was that did not include Saturday delivery. And he just said if you dealt with these overpayments, that you'd have a profitable enterprise. So go ahead. So that takes care of the question. Now, what about the loss of business? Who'd get the business?
Well, there's always going to be a need for delivery on Saturday. We talked about prescription drugs and other things that the American people are going to need. Somebody's going to fill that vacuum if the Postal Service doesn't.
And you think that would have an effect on future business for the Post Office, or that would carry over into your Monday through Friday business?
Absolutely. It would affect the current business. It would affect the growing part of the business, which is people shopping online and parcel delivery when people are home on Saturday. It's just not a good idea where there's a lot of innovative things that.
Let me ask you one more question then, because you made me understand that. We've had some testimony here about thousands, I don't know, thousands of postal workers that are on workers' compensation that could be on retirement. Would you clarify that? I mean, why aren't they just retired?
I'm not real sure what the gentleman was referring to, but I know there's been proposals with regard to workers' compensation, which we certainly are willing to look at. The important thing is that we don't punish our employees who are injured on the job and that we treat them fairly.
Yeah. And there was some concern that these workers had no intention of coming back to work. Now, I know the retirement age is 55, but somebody 55 these days better come back to work if you possibly can.
Sure.
I wonder if the union would take a close look at that, because it will not sound good to the American people if you're carrying people who could then be carried on their earned retirement benefits.
Again, it's all how it's characterized. That's why I would have to take issue with the comment that was made. We'd have to look behind it, because we certainly want to look for a fair way to treat these people and not punish them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Norton. In light of no other members here to inquire and us about ready to go in for another vote here, we're going to adjourn. I want to thank the gentlemen of our second panel and appreciate you all being here, taking time out of your schedule. We've just scratched the surface and look forward to working with you all on this issue. Thank you all very much and have a good day.